Okay. So I have been noticing the headlines lately, and there's so much stuff that's being exposed and everything. And I haven't seen anybody talking about stuff in a while. I watched somebody a few days ago, maybe a week ago, listening to them for like, I don't know, 45 minutes or something. It was just kind of the same stuff being said, 107. And the whole thing is that all of the stuff that's going on, is that like hair sticking up? All of the stuff that's being said is, I don't know, it's kind of just, it's kind of repetitive, but it is that there's so many different things that are happening. And so, the people who are waiting for disclosure, the people who are waiting for the political exposure, the government exposure, the money, there's like so many things happening right now. And then, we have some people who are out there trying to get the information out there, and I really appreciate them. But I also think for some of us, it is good once you can let go of trying to keep seeing what's going on. For a while, I like to see what is going on because it helped me. It kind of was a gauge to see, like, how far away are we from all this stuff happening? Like, how's it going? I talk about this stuff all the time. So, when I was watching, and then plus it just kind of gives you that feeling when you hear other people talking, like that you are on the same page as them. So it doesn't make you feel so alone. But all of this stuff happening is like for each different group's benefit, because it all is the same outcome. The same outcome, what I've been talking about, that I went through, where everything that I thought was real, everything that I thought was important, that I built, that I lost everything, everything. And that is what's going on for people, because this isn't about the loss of these things. This is about the expansion of humanity. This is like evolution of human beings. This is it's the harvest and all of that stuff, but it's every soul has this opportunity now to expand itself, to understand itself, to recognize itself. And that's what all this stuff is about. And so many people get so caught up in this aspect or that aspect. And that's why I always talk about, like, as this stuff is crumbling and falling apart, it's gonna, if you hold on to some of this stuff too tight, it's gonna feel like your limbs are getting ripped off of you or something. You can't hold on to these paradigms and this false reality as it's being dismantled and torn apart. So rather than, like going down with the ship of the politics or whatever, to me, there's so much stuff about trusting and having faith as to know what's really going on and where we're headed, and not get caught up in all of the little storms that we've got to go through on the way. And seeing all of the stuff, starting to get exposed. And then somebody told me the other day, well, it's still not even reaching certain people. And because I just see the headlines, I don't go in and watch all the stuff. But on YouTube, when you have all the little things that has the top news, you can go across and see what stations are talking about what stuff is being exposed, who's got what going, and but the people who are just so stuck on it, because sometimes, my mom's doing really good of getting out of the house and turning the news off, because she had it on all the time, just like, and I think a lot of the stuff that I tell her, she thinks like, okay, it sounds like possible, maybe, but it's kind of crazy, so I don't know. I think things are just going to continue like this forever. This is just the way of the world. And and she's a Bible person, but she also knows this is a tribulation, like that we're all her thing that she told me is that it's going to be, from the Bible perspective, that it's going to be just like everybody gets up one day and half the people are just gone. They were taken because God favored them and wanted them to go up and not have to suffer as the world was destroyed. I just have such a hard time, like, but if that's what this big God person was like, why would you worship him? If that's the way he is, you know? Because that just seems really harsh to me. But I just don't see it that way. I see it much more of, there's just all of these different paradigms and structures and these different ideas and perspectives that people have been like trained into believing or something, just like with religion and fear and medicine. Medicine is a huge one. A Western medicine is nothing based on about healing yourself and taking care of yourself and eating right, and it is all about just go to the doctor, pay a bunch of money. They've got so much stuff with their insurance, and so much stuff is just, it's criminal. And then with the medicine and stuff, it's just, it is not at all for humans' best interests. It's not at all to take care of us. But as all of these different things are falling apart, yeah, if you're just holding on, it's gonna just hurt. But the more that you can just detach yourself from these different things and go inside and trust your own instinct, because your own instinct will be giving you some kind of acknowledgement. But the whole thing is that there's so much manipulation with fear right now, that, and people are so cut off from themselves that they have such a hard time tuning into themselves and really getting a direct message. They're so ego driven with their the social justice warriors and the what is that called, virtue signaling and all that stuff. Yeah, they're so caught up in their egos that there is no I don't think that they have any connection to their own inner knowing or inner voice. And they're just are, and that's causing so much mass confusion inside of them and emotional pain and stuff like that. But that's the stuff that's supposed to be coming up, because that is what it's all about, each individual soul having recognition of self. So it is about you being able to understand there's more and your place in the world, and that it is not, it is you are forever. You're an infinite being. And, this is just playing a part. There's so many people who don't even understand about reincarnation. And that is, a soul's journey. It's a soul's world, a soul's life, going in and having experience after experience after experience to expand self. And, I don't even know how there's so much misinformation has been fed to this public for so long that there's so much to relearn. I don't know. Maybe all these people who are not working now, it is all for part of the purpose, because there's going to be so much time of having to relearn and take care of themselves and stuff. There's so much stuff too going on here in Washington State with the education system, which is another system that has showed itself. And one of the things even was my granddaughter got messaged the parents and stuff, and said that there was no teacher for her class, and they can't find a substitute, so all the kids just needed to stay home. That's showing you right there, the system is failing. And then in the news or newspaper or whatever, then they have that now in Washington State, that in the curriculum is teaching about Marxism or something. You know, in Washington State is so, so, the schools are indoctrination camps. They're not about education or anything. It's about mind manipulation, feeding a narrative, and destructuring a society. So, you know, I've said about a zillion times, I'd pull my kids out of school. If you're just trying to figure stuff out, you know, I would definitely pull my kids out of school. The schools are not trying to help you with your kid. They're not trying to teach you. I mean, the two kids that I have right now that aren't speaking to me, university ones, I mean, the stuff that they think and say is taught. Like, they're really taught in university. It's just not what you think they're getting taught. They are taught such this, yeah, it's like disturbed and intricate and like way of looking at the world. And there's words and stuff, the trigger words and stuff. It is so crazy that the conversations where they will have trying to convince me that they, well, one of the daughters hasn't spoken to me since, you know, BLM became a thing. I mean, that was April. I mean, it couldn't even understand at all where I'm coming from. And, you know, to tell me that I don't even know anything about racism when I was, I mean, my high school was the first one integrated in downtown Dallas. When I was there, I was in the class, the first one. So when they were doing desegregation, because even after the, you know, it wasn't like they let that one black girl go to the school and, you know, everything suddenly changed. No, that went on for a long time. They still kept people very segregated in their own areas. And then they started saying, you know, well, the kids down here in downtown Dallas aren't learning shit. They can't even pass, you know, 6th grade test at graduation. And so then they said, okay, well, the white kids are getting a better education, so we're going to take these kids and put them there and take the white kids over there and put them in downtown school. And then we're going to, you know, the idea is that they're going to raise the education in both. They didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. But that's not what the government does. That whole thing is just a constant chaos, constant division, constant fighting. There was so much fighting during that time. I mean, I think they told us it was going to go on for like a year before. There was so much fear. Kids were so scared that they were going to be picked. It was like a lottery who was going to go. And you'd have to ride a bus. You wouldn't be in your neighborhood school. You couldn't just drive. You have to ride a bus, go all the way downtown. And downtown was pretty scary back then. You know, it was a lot. I just remember even just going to the fair, and it would be in downtown, and people would be like, you know, you gotta hurry and get in there. It's dangerous and stuff. And you go out on the sidewalk, and there'd be garbage and homeless people, or I don't know, drug addicts. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But, you know, the streets already, I don't know, it looked like Pelosi was already in charge of that district way back then. She probably was. She's probably just wearing a different suit. She's a friggin' 900-year-old relic. So, anyways, yeah, a lot of these people who are in our system, they've sold their soul. And, you know, that just means that if you sell your soul, it's easy to do. People do it all day long, and they don't even realize they're doing it. I mean, how many damn... what was that show? What are those things called? They're called, I keep having all these different words pop in my head. Just a second, I'll get the right one. But, reality TV, look how many people sold their soul. I mean, how undignified, how stupid are you going to make yourself look for money? How much are you going to just be, you know, some of these people have totally just humiliated themselves just to get famous or to get some money or something. And it's like, why? That right there, that is selling your soul, because the whole thing is your soul is going to make you feel bad. Your soul is going to feel cheap. Your soul is going to feel dirty. You can't get away with anything. People think like, I could go in there and steal this and nobody's going to see, so that means I got away with it. No, you can't get away with anything, because you are your own police. And, there's a lot of people that do a lot of bad stuff, and they just do worse and worse and worse and worse, because they've got to, fight this thing. And then they start feeding off a negative energy and stuff, and they get so caught up in just this whole negative way of being, and just get themselves in this cycle. But, you are hiding your soul inside yourself. Like, you are feeding off other energy, negative energy or whatever. You're feeding off other energy, and you are, you've like shackled and gagged your soul, and it's going to hurt. You're going to have pain. You're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel unhappy. You're never going to feel right. You're always going to feel like people are looking at you, that everyone knows something's wrong with you. Everyone knows you're a piece of shit. All that stuff, that's coming from within you, because you cannot hide from yourself. It's impossible. I mean, right now people have been doing it, but the universe is putting up this big mirror, so you can't anymore. It's going to be like every way you can see yourself, you're going to have to. And you have to see yourself and accept yourself. And a lot of people have gotten themselves in some big, deep holes. And it's going to be hard to, face themselves. And it's not about having to face anyone else. It's about having to face yourself. Because how much does anybody ever really matter? I mean, you can walk out of a room. You could turn me off right now if I bug you. You could turn me off. You have that power. You're somewhere and you don't like somebody, you have the power to leave the place. You're not trapped there. Your soul is trapped with you inside. And if you're being a bitch and doing shit, you're going to feel shitty. And, if you are not tuned into yourself, you are going to think it's coming from outside of you. You're not going to know how to fix it. The whole thing to get to is to face yourself, accept yourself, learn how to love yourself, learn how to build yourself out of this crumbling fake world that is going down, and be ready for the transformation. But, you have to be listening to yourself. And, there's just so many people are just so cut off from being able to hear that. But, the selling your soul, it can be in so many different ways, because it's your own internal thing. And, so many people, like I had so many talks about this with my daughter, because, I think that's fine. If a woman wants to go out and, express herself, if she feels empowered, like I'm empowering myself by showing my nude body that it's not perfect and I still love it and I'm proud of it. If that's what you're going out there and doing, then you're going to feel great. You're going to feel like, look it, I love myself no matter how imperfect I am. But if you're going out and you're being like, I'm going to get somebody to really love me. I'm going to go out. If I just start showing my body, I'll get lots of attention. Then I can start picking. That is on more of that level of selling your soul. You're selling yourself out for some other thing. You want something. You want money. You want attention. You want love. And that's why social media has been destructive in a lot of ways for our society, because it gave everyone this platform to sell themselves out. The reality TV, sell yourself out. And then just, you need to feel better, go get some drugs, go buy some stuff, go drink, They don't ever tell us how to, I mean, there's people out there speaking about it, but you certainly don't have the CDC or anything like that telling us to meditate and go eat right, center, and get in touch with yourself and mind, body, soul stuff and stuff like that. If you go and listen about Eastern medicine, you will definitely get those kinds of things. So, just because we are a more newer place, it has been more corrupted with corruption through the corporations. And it's all been just manufactured trick to just, take over human beings completely. And it goes so far back. And that's the thing too, is that so many people don't even understand the fear aliens. They've been here the whole time. We are their experiment. They are with us all the time, watching us, helping us. And people just have the weirdest idea of what this planet is and what's going on here, and how to get to heaven, and to be scared of what you can't see. Don't take care of yourself. Blame others. All of this stuff is all just the wrong way of living. And, we just got to get back to the right way of living. And being in touch with ourselves is the first step. So, just like I say it all the time, you got to work on yourself. You're the only person who can change your life. And, if you're wanting a better life and you're wanting to feel better and in life, focus on yourself. Don't focus on others, especially right now. This is the perfect time. If you think it's like a really horrible thing and selfish and you're not a good person, everyone else is struggling and you're not focusing on yourself. I mean, that would be selfish to focus on yourself. Everybody has to go through these things. We cannot fix it for anybody. Everyone has to go through it. It's part of our soul's journey. And it is the best thing for you to do, is to focus on yourself. And, it could be that you're breaking ties of codependency and stuff like that. And there's a lot of self-help books out there, that are going to give you a lot of information. But you got to go through a lot of different ones. You can't get caught up in just like, this one thing is the answer to all things. And, you got to look into a lot of stuff, build your story, build your picture, build your understanding. There's lots of information out there, and just, be as broad as possible when you're going out and looking for your truth. Get as much information as you can to build and figure it out. Your inner knowing will guide you. Your inner knowing will tell you what's right. You will understand things in a deeper level. And, it's just pulling away from this false world. So, anyways, have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Bye.